was a great man. Hard act to follow.
They were the perfect couple, hailing from both ends of the Motor City.
He was the best. I miss him a lot.
David Kinchen, a proud son of Detroit's West Side, and his wife Vita, a darling daughter of the East Side. They were young and in love, married in the late 70s, eventually starting a lovely little family in Chicagoland. That's my kid sister Sydney, and yours truly, at the house they built in Naperville. We seemingly had it all until colorectal cancer threatened everything. The signs, well, they're the kind no one likes to talk about.
He had problems basically where he said his stool was like pencils. I didn't know that at the time. He didn't tell me. He had a doctor's appointment just to check to see if he had cancer, and the doctor called when he was out jogging and gave me the news first. I actually was too afraid to even tell him about it, so I told the doctor, please call back and tell him, because I can't give him this news. I just can't. I can't do it.
My dad, a national accounts manager for Levi Strauss, in charge of product at all Sears stores in the country, and my mom, a devoted homemaker, looking forward to guiding us kids through our wonder years, had everything turned upside down.
It was crazy because he had the best insurance in the world, and I remember the doctor saying, there's nothing we can do for you, but just wait until the cancer run its course, which was a terrible thing to tell a person.
He put up a valiant fight with regular hospital visits, surgeries, and experimental treatments, but it was clear time was not on our side.
It was hard. I didn't expect him to die from the colon cancer. I thought maybe there was like hope, but it was pretty far gone at that point. It's kind of hard to believe that he died on his, I think, so many months before his what would have been his 39th birthday.
I worried about getting to and past 39 years old if I developed another thing that I had in common with my dad, getting the same disease. That's when I read up on this procedure called a colonoscopy, where doctors can see exactly what's happening in the colon and take immediate action if needed.
Just let yourself relax and drift off to sleep.
I had the first one in college, with the second one taking place on television when I worked at our Fox station in Philadelphia back in 2014. I wouldn't be due for another exam for another several years. But you see, that's where I screwed up. I kept putting it off, and I let life get too busy. And then I got scared, thinking, what if I waited too long? But no more. It was time to take action once again.
Colon cancer is the fourth most common cancer in the United States.
I made an appointment with Dr. Phil Goldmeyer, a gastroenterologist at Digestive Health Associates in Farmington Hills. He says colorectal cancer is the second most common cancer in people under 50 and the second most common cause of cancer-related deaths.
You know, it's not uncommon to have minor bleeding, but if it's persistent, it should be evaluated by a professional. And change in bowel habits, if all of a sudden it's flat on one side and it wasn't before, or if you're having diarrhea and you never had that, or constipation, things like that should be evaluated by your primary or by a specialist.
Lately, colon cancer is on the rise in young people, and experts aren't sure why.
Almost 15% of the colon cancers we see are in people under 50. So we recently, over the last few years, have changed the screening age from 50 down to 45. It's concerning because what we find is that when we find it in younger people, it's usually more advanced or more aggressive.
Because of my dad, my risk is even higher.
And if you have a family history, like in your case, you want to get screened early. Most average risk patients we screen at age 45, and people with increased risk, like someone who had a primary first degree relative that had colon cancer, will usually do it 10 years before that. So in your case, I think your dad was in his 30s, so we would start in your 20s.
Truth be told, the prep is the worst part. It calls for mixing Miralax with Gatorade and taking several Dulcolax tablets, which will clean you out big time. Your doctor will give you the specific instructions for the prep, and after it's done, well, it's exam time. They knock me out, and the team is ready to work. I actually opted for an endoscopy as well, which sends a scope down the throat to look at the stomach and small bowel. Now, it can help detect colon cancer, but doctors say colonoscopy is the gold standard for that job, and that scope is inserted, well, let's just say through the rear.
It's a tube about the size of my finger, has a video chip at the end, and we just control it and push it around the colon. Close. You got it. That was good.
Dr. Goldmeyer works his way around the twists and turns while a monitor shows exactly what the tiny camera sees.
And on our way out, we spend a good amount of time just looking around and making sure that we don't find any abnormalities. And if we do, we might take a biopsy, which is just grabbing a piece of tissue if there's a polyp or a growth. Sometimes we'll use a different technique to remove them.
That's exactly what they need to do after finding some growths in the colon known as polyps. He filled me in on that after the job was done.
We had a couple of 3 polyps. They were all very small. We sort of categorized polyps greater or less than a centimeter, and the pathology was a type that wasn't concerning. So they're rarely cancerous, thankfully. They're usually benign, and that's the whole idea. We're trying to find things before they have the opportunity to turn into cancer. And it could take many years, but the idea is to get rid of them.
Otherwise, the doctor says all was normal, and boy was I relieved. And by the way, my sister has done her part too, considering the family history.
I'm about to be 40 in a few weeks, and I've already had 2 colonoscopies in my life, so ahead of the game for a lot of folks.
So and that gives you comfort, right?
Absolutely, just knowing that there's something out there to screen, and knowing how far we've come since he was diagnosed.
While nothing will bring our dad back, our family and close friends honor him every day by living fearlessly while also staying on top of our exams. As for our mom, she's the real hero.
I had your dad to care for, and of course you too. But I didn't realize how much work I was doing at the time until he passed away. And I missed him so much. I'd give anything to have him back.